We're Keith and Melody Brown, storytellers, travelers, and partners in all things that matter most. We're your guides for branching off to unexpected destinations to experience something new. This is Guided Detour, Taos, New Mexico. You have to treat yourself to view this breathtaking town from high above, which was one of our first activities here with Sol and his team at Rio Grande Balloons.
I'll kind of come up with a flight plan, navigational plan based on
The
what I'm
movement
seeing.
of the balloon.
Yeah.
The experience started with a 6:30 a.m. call time.
A couple miles up north. It'll take about 15 minutes to get out there.
While this may not sound like a time you typically choose to be up during a vacation, this hot air balloon ride is definitely worth it.
So all the high-tech weather forecasts.
Yeah, I was about to
I'm
say
looking at
that's
the
pretty
weather
high-tech, so-
last night, this morning at 4 in the morning, looking at all the forecasts, and when it comes down to it, come out
The
here and
helium
send off a little
balloon.
helium balloon.
Highball up! Keith and I were one of 10 visitors who joined Sol on the balloon. But before we ascended into the sky, we were part of the preparation and getting the vehicle ready to lift into the sky with a fusion of fire and wind.
Go 15 feet.
Sarah, can you do a single too?
Highball up.
So right now I'm just looking for what wind directions we have up at probably about 2,000 feet where that balloon is. Looks like it's starting to come back to the north.
Are you ready?
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Who knew I would be a little assistant during this journey, right? That was pretty cool. And we haven't even gone up yet.
Hold the sides of the balloon back, Sparrow and Ryan, please. Yep. Ryan, left side, hold that bottom out. Okay, feet off.
One final and unexpected weather test cleared us to take off.
Let it come up, Michael. Let it come up, don't hold it down. All right, come on over, start climbing aboard, please. Halfway on that side.
We glided over the Rio Grande del Norte National Monument, known for its unmistakable 800-foot deep carving in the Taos Plateau. Along with spectacular scenery, which was designated a national monument in 2013, it serves as a mecca for campers, hikers, and fishermen.
Well, I mean, from a hot air ballooning perspective, if you look at the landscape around us, the scenery, the Rio Grande Gorge here.
Traffic, Kayak 7882 November.
It's a beautiful area to fly, pretty unique. The way that we're able to play in this canyon, fly right down to the gorge, it's unlike any other place.
an experience like this demands a toast.
The winds have welcomed you with softness. The sun has blessed you with his warm hands. For you have flown so high and so well that God has joined you in your laughter and set you gently back into the loving arms of Mother Earth. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers. Once back on solid ground, you have to take the customary walk across the Rio Grande Gorge Bridge.
So high up, I'm actually afraid of heights. So, I'm gonna be taking it kind of slow.
Yes.
Going across here.
Keith is definitely testing his limits right now.
Yes, I am.
Watch your step, babe.
It's the second highest bridge in the U.S. highway system.
So we're actually at the center of the bridge now where the river kind of runs through it, the gorge, down below. One go-to tip that we found from talking to folks here out in Taos is that stay hydrated. So one person told us if you drink caffeine, it's almost like doubling caffeine. If you're gonna have a glass of wine or a cocktail or a beer, one glass is like two because of the altitude.
You can also enjoy some retail therapy that's rich with culture from vendors with the Taos Pueblo community. They have booths filled with handmade jewelry and other trinkets. And I have to tell you, we took well advantage of it. The Taos Native American tribe and its heritage is noticeable throughout the area. One of its most prominent points is the Taos Pueblo. It's the only living Native American community designated both a World Heritage Site by UNESCO and a National Historic Landmark. We were thrilled to spend time with Alona, a native and the director of tourism for Taos Pueblo. She met up with us at the Lunder Research Center. It's the site of an art installation that was inspired by and featuring the works of Mark Magary, which he was inspired by artist E.I. Kaus, who is known for his studies and paintings of Taos Pueblo culture.
Taos, though, was particular about his models, and so the ones that the people you see and hear are Ben Lujan and Jerry Mirabal and Antonio Lujan. The renderings you see here are of both Ben and Jerry, and so and there's thousands of them, thousands of negatives, photographs that we've had to kind of go through and see what's appropriate. And what I mean by appropriate is nothing that's touching on any kind of religious components from the tribe. A lot of it's just modeling, though. It's just them trying to capture Native people in, I guess, as natural as they could be.
Alona spoke to us about how the Native American community's tradition resonates throughout the town, while also balancing today's customs and lifestyle.
The huge component to Taos is that the Pueblo is here. There isn't an indigenous community that's close to a tourism destination like Taos, where the indigenous people are like, the borders are like right up against each other. You know, we can walk a mile from here and be on Taos Pueblo land, and that's how close we are.
Any couple's trip deserves some luxury, and we did that in a big, make that little way while staying at this tiny home during our vacation. This phenomenal spot, known as the Bougie at Big Little Hideaway, was our home away from home while in Taos. We spoke with Jamie. She and her husband Doug relocated from Texas to make New Mexico their home and start their vacation stay business.
Let's talk about you adding a little bouginess to Taos. So let's talk about the tiny house, specifically to start with the bougie home.
They're very modern, and definitely the windows was a huge sell because the views out here is what made us, when we saw this property, we were like, oh, this is the view. So I think the main feature is that having that extra loft. I think it's like, I want to say it's at least 12 feet high, like in there. Second most favorite feature are certainly the big picture windows, and the picture windows all the way around in the loft bedroom area and the main bedroom area. The fact that like the shower's a normal size shower, you know, it's like a nice 3-foot square, so there's plenty of room, and there's plenty of height, so for your tall folks and stuff, you have elbow room and everything, and a really modern, nice stove. So everything you want just in a little space.
What makes Taos such a wonderful destination for folks who are like, oh, I never thought about staying there for a vacation? What makes it so wonderful?
The light here is clear, the colors are crisp, and it artists gravitate to this space because it is so incredibly inspiring. So it is just the land. I mean, it is the land of enchantment.
Another awesome accommodation that perfectly captures the magic of Taos is La Doña Luz. This charming Adobe bed and breakfast is located in the heart of Taos. Where are we right now as far as this bed and breakfast? What's the name of it? Give us a little bit of the background.
Well, the inn is named La Doña Luz Inn, and La Doña Luz was a woman who lived in this property in the early 1800s, and she was known for being a hostess. It made it seem like an obvious name for the inn.
What can a traveler expect with the stay here at La Doña Luz?
You know, it's funny because I have at least a few times heard people say that they came in their room and they loved it so much they never even went out, and they felt like they saw Taos.
Your handwork, right? Your craftsmanship is throughout this whole inn.
My idea was I wanted it to be just a very real old New Mexico feeling.
There is no shortage of delicious places to grab a quick bite or to sit down for a delicious meal. The Love Apple is a northern New Mexico restaurant emphasizing local organic home cooking.
These are our tacos, handmade flour tortillas. We get the flour from Sangre de Cristo flour mill, local. Inside we either have a fried avocado, which is gluten-free with cornmeal, or braised beef or chicken confit, and a beautiful citrus cinnamon marinade.
It's housed in what was once known as the Placitas Chapel. This little Catholic church was built around the 1800s and was in operation for over 100 years. Make sure you bring cash with you.
And I wanted an affordable price, and to kind of do that, one of the ideas was cash only. And I wanted to pay my people more, so that was just one of the small things that kind of added up to make it affordable for everybody.
It is mocktails to cocktails time. All right, apple cider hot toddy, really inspired by the spirit of this town. First, the Love Apple restaurant, which literally has apples growing out there, really the organic spirit. And then after our trip hiking and kind of walking across the gorge, we needed something to mellow us out, but also that was warm and comforting, just like this town of Taos. So let's get started with the apple cider hot toddy. Here's what you need. First, you need 2 cups of hot water. You're gonna pour it over your favorite tea, whether it's decaf, whether it's caffeinated. Just be mindful of anything with flavor because you don't want to throw off the balance of the cider. And leave enough room for your apple cider and, of course, for the cocktail version, the whiskey. Then you're gonna add an ounce of cider per cup. Let your tea steep for about 3 to 4 minutes. Don't leave the tea bags in because it'll make it bitter. To add a little garnish on it, squeeze with a splash of lemon. And this is the mocktail version of the apple cider hot toddy. Now it's time for the cocktail version of the hot toddy apple cider. This is easy. Whiskey in a can. We found this at one of the stores here in Taos, and I was like, we have to have this. This is Irish whiskey in a can. So we're gonna add 1.5 ounces to each cup of the apple cider hot toddy. Woo! This is probably perfect for those folks who love to hike and outdoorsy type. And again, I'm adding 1.5 ounces of whiskey. Ooh, I smell it. It smells so good. Honey, can you smell it from behind the camera, the whiskey?
Yes.
Yeah, that smells really good. So we're gonna let that steep all together. We have our favorite tea, we have our apple cider, we have our squeeze of fresh lemon. And then of course, you know me, I love a little garnish. Let's get an apple slice in each. The other thing that would be great in this, if you had it, is like a cinnamon stick, or if you had even some ground cinnamon on top of it, that would really kick it up. All right, honey, I'm ready to sip this. You ready to sit down and take a sip?
Yes.
All right, let's take a sip. Cheers, Adam.
Cheers.
Let's see.
Great hot toddy.
Yes. Apple cider hot toddy.
Delicious.
You like it?
It is really good.
Right?
It is awesome.
And it's
really
comforting.
Good. It is comforting. Nice and warm. I love the apple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't have a little cinnamon, but next time I'll do
no,
that.
But I think this is perfect the way it is.